welcome to this special internet edition of The Match. The enthralling battle for La Liga continues, the temperatures rising as the title race continues. Next up for Real Madrid, a tricky trip to Valladolid. Here with me to preview this one is Dermot Corrigan. Dermot, welcome along.
Hey, Rhiannon.
Slip-ups from all three at the top this week. Where does it leave us?
Really crazy weekend in the Liga, because we've been going along and the three teams have been picking up points pretty regularly, the three teams at the top. Now comes to the weekend, Barcelona draw at home to Getafe, then Atletico go to Levante, they lose there. Then Madrid come back to get a 2-2 draw against Valencia at the Bernabeu. None of those results were really expected. Kind of leaves us a little bit as we were with Atletico just top of the table, but Madrid breathing right down their necks. Madrid know that if they can win their 3 games remaining, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Atletico. Still have to hope that Atletico slip up, but I think we're pretty sure it's going to go down to the end of the season now.
And how are Real Madrid looking?
They're in pretty good form. I think it was a little bit of a setback. We can't deny that against Valencia. Things were set up for Madrid to beat Valencia, but because of everything that happened after the game in Bayern Munich, which was such a huge occasion, emotionally as well as physically, the players just weren't quite at the pitch of the game against Valencia, and Valencia caught Madrid a little bit on the hop. But it did come back into it, got that point, which could turn out to be very, very useful at the end of the season, or really important at the end of the season. Madrid have an extra game to play. They're going to go to Valladolid on Wednesday. If they can win that game, they go back above Barcelona, 2 points behind Atletico. That puts more pressure on Atletico ahead of their game against Malaga at the weekend. When Madrid go to Vigo, which isn't an easy game either. So it is all set up for 2 really, really exciting game weeks, and I think we could end up going right down to the wire in the title race.
Well, Carlo Ancelotti spoke in his press conference earlier about how his players are feeling after the weekend's draw, and he gave his thoughts ahead of a tricky trip to Valladolid.
I think we lost an opportunity, of course, but we have to continue to believe that we can win. And so, because the mathematics is not done until now, and we have to fight. It will be a difficult game tomorrow, but I think that mentally the team reacted really well. It will be a very important game for both teams because we are fighting for the league, they are fighting for the relegation, and so I think it will be a really tough game where every team try to do the best to try to win and to reach their aim.
Ahead of that press conference, Real Madrid had their final training session ahead of their trip to Pucela, and a couple of things worth pointing out from that training session. Luka Modric is back, which is great. Ancelotti also did confirm in the press conference that Bale nor Carvajal will be starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a natural thing that happens at this stage of the season when there's so many games coming thick and fast. And Ancelotti was pretty upfront. He came in, his first answer in the press conference this morning was to let the press know what was going on. Carvajal has some issues, and Bale picked up a knock, Ancelotti has said, so both of those are not going to play. Modric back is great news for Madrid. I think he was missed at the weekend against Valencia, that control that he has in the midfield, so he's going to come back in. And Bale out as well. You know, Bale, he was playing so well. Hopefully it's not a serious issue that he has. According to Ancelotti, it's not so bad, and he should be back for the weekend, but he's not going to make the trip to Valladolid. There's a big squad there. There's lots of players who can come in. That's what happens at this stage of the season. You're never going to put your best 11 out on the pitch, or what people might think is your first choice 11 out on the pitch. The squad is there. He has, 20 professional, experienced international type players who can come in and out of the squad, and Ancelotti's managed them very well throughout the season. Guys like Nacho and Contra can come in, so I don't think there's any problems with it, but it's just something that happens at this stage of the season.
You mentioned the starting 11. If you could talk us through the rest of it, please, Dermot.
Yeah, we have Casillas coming in for his first league game of the season in goals, which is not an issue at all. Then Nacho, I think, was most likely to replace Carvajal at right back. Arbeloa is back in training and is doing the exercises with the rest of his teammates so far, so he's an option maybe to come in, but I think Nacho is fitter at the moment. He's more match ready, and I think he's more likely to start at right back. Pepe to come back in alongside Ramos in defence is good as well. Pepe missed out at the weekend. He was rested against Valencia, but he can come back in and get that partnership with Ramos, which has been so good in recent weeks. Coentrao, again, Marcelo played against Valencia, but Coentrao will come in just to rotate and keep both players fresh at left back. Into midfield, you've got Alonso and Modric coming back in, which I think is good news for Madrid. Isco as well to complete the midfield 3. And then up front, you have Di Maria and Ronaldo and Benzema, which is really strong up front. So firepower is there in the team to go out and win the game. It's about getting the mental preparation right, and I think Ancelotti will do that.
Well, we've spoken about Real Madrid. Let's move on to Valladolid before we run out of time quickly. It's also a very, very important game for them in their relegation fight.
Yeah, it's a huge game for them. They're down in 19th place. Betis are gone, but there's 6 or 7 teams who are fighting to avoid being the 2 teams to go with them. Valladolid have this game in hand. They will have targeted this. They beat Barcelona in Valladolid earlier on this season. They've only lost 3 home games so far. They're very tight, very defensive maybe at home. They don't concede many goals. They don't score many either, but they'll look to shut up shop. A point to be a great result for them. So Madrid have to go make sure that they're aware of what a big game it is for Valladolid, not underestimate them at all, and I think they can do that and they can go and win the game.
And just before we go, your prediction and scores.
I'm going to go for 1-0. I think it's going to be a tight enough game, and I think Ronaldo might get the winner.
Thank you very much, Dermot, for coming in. That's all we have time for. Don't forget, kick-offs at 9 p.m. local time. Enjoy the game. Until next time.